Welcome to another episode of Elite Girl Talk inspired by psychology for the women who enjoy thoughtful conversations. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing the psychology of rich women, the mindset, thought processes, and behaviors of women who have achieved financial success and continue to thrive financially. Before we get into today's episode, make sure to check out the Elite Girl Talk Substack for additional bonus content. And keep in mind, Elite Girl Talk is on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for your listening preference. Okay, let's get into it. There is this common misconception that rich women are lucky or privileged in a way that creates this belief that being financially stable and abundant is set aside only for a specific type of women, rather than understanding that rich women have a set of habits, systems, and a mindset that creates wealth. These psychological concepts that rich women have adopted into their life can be replicated and achievable by any woman. If you want to achieve optimal results, make sure to also listen to my other episode on the psychology of luck. The concepts discussed in that episode directly connect to what we're going to discuss in this episode as well. I also want to mention that I understand that not every woman starts at the same place. Some women are fighting battles, financial trauma, or are in survival mode. This episode isn't about blame, it's about understanding the psychology of women who have built wealth in order to help women who are ready to enter their rich girl era. One of the key concepts that rich women have adopted is the internal locus of control. Rich women believe that they can influence their outcomes. Having an external locus of control is the belief that outcomes are largely controlled by external factors, such as fate and luck, and believing that you have less influence in the outcomes in your life. A quote that a mentor once told me was that the circumstances that you're in right now is the direct cause of all of the choices and habits you have made up until this point. It's about how you respond to external circumstances and events, not giving power to external factors all the time. A study from the Journal of Economic of Psychology named Locus of Control and Low Wage Mobility showed that people with an internal locus of control were more likely to be paid higher, as well as people with low paying wages with an internal locus of control also faced higher upward mobility. This solidifies that believing that your choices hold more power and influence than external factors allows you to make proactive choices that will have a positive impact on your financial well-being. For example, a woman who has an internal locus of control and a wealthy mindset, when her car breaks down or when she has a large unexpected bill, she addresses it rather than avoids it or blames everything else for what has happened to her. This isn't about being a robot and never being upset or disappointed when things like this happen. This is about understanding that your finances are your responsibility. Your life is your responsibility, and that your choices are going to affect the outcomes in your life. Another example is a woman with a wealthy mindset who wants to make more money doesn't stay at the same job or do the same work, getting paid less than what she thinks that she deserves. She makes plans and takes action to find higher paying work. She starts a business where she invests her money aggressively. She isn't passive in her life, and she isn't avoidant. She's an active participant in her financial well-being and dedicated to growing her finances. Wealth grows faster when you consistently ask yourself, what can I control today? Rich women also have this belief that they can execute. This is called self-efficacy, the belief in your capacity to align your actions to reach specific goals. For example, in this case, building wealth. For example, wealthy women don't wait to feel ready to start a business, to look for a higher paying job, or invest in the stock market. They prepare and get ready by building her proof on her terms. She takes courses, she goes on interviews, she learns to negotiate, she takes action. Psychologist Albert Bandura found that a person's sense of self-efficacy played a major role in how someone approached their goals, tasks, and challenges. Women who don't have a strong sense of self-efficacy might act in ways that are avoidant or dismissive of their financial goals, while women with a strong sense of self efficacy might act in ways where they approach tasks and challenges head on, leading to more success in their financial goals. One of Albert Bandura's core points in growing self efficacy is through mastery and experiences. For example, like picking one financial goal a day, like writing down expenses, making a budget for a trip, or making a budget for going out to dinner, and doing this type of skill for 30 days. Wealthy women also have what is called a growth mindset and reframe failure as gathering information. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, stated that her father would ask her, "What did you fail at today?" Failure meant that you tried something new, not that there is something wrong with you or that you should stop trying. A growth mindset is when you treat skills and outcomes as improvable through feedback, effort, and strategy. Well, a fixed mindset is believing that outcomes final and not flexible. For example, a wealthy mindset would see failing a business as feedback on how to pivot to another business, on what worked and what didn't work in the last business. While a woman with a more fixed mindset would see business failure as an indicator of her skill set and worth rather than seeing her skill set as something she can improve. Oprah Winfrey has stated, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." It's easy to get lost in unfortunate events and circumstances like financial loss or setbacks, but it's important to not let these events define who you are and where you can go. Rich women have habits and systems that decrease the likelihood of burnout and stress. In the book Scarcity, Why Having Too Little Means So Much, the author Elder Shafir and Sentil Mullington mention how scarcity in money and resources can cause tunnel vision and hyper focus on problems and setbacks, which can reduce cognitive bandwidth for planning, self control, and long term decisions. This is obviously understandable as financial stress is mentally and emotionally draining. However, there are certain actions women can take in order to mitigate financial stress as much as possible. For example, like putting bills on auto pay, schedule money dates for budgeting and looking through finances, and creating buffers for emergencies. Remember, one of the key concepts is rich women create opportunities for themselves to increase their quote unquote luck. Sometimes these opportunities are small tasks that compound over time. It's important to try to avoid the scarcity loop where you stay in panic mode, which can lead to avoidance and overspending. There's a huge problem with overconsumption and overspending on things like food delivery services or shopping and luxury items to increase mood, image, and short term gratification. Again, this is not about never indulging or never treating yourself or not being interested in nicer things, but a mindset that rich women have adopted is the ability to be able to delay gratification when it's necessary. Finances are not to fund an image in order to be accepted. This creates short term happiness and can cause unhealthy spending habits that compound over time. Women who want to build wealth are okay with living below their means if it means that they don't drive the fanciest car or have the biggest house or the bags. Rich women build in silence to satisfy their long-term goals first and values. They don't build for approval or acceptance. This is the core foundation that will separate you as a woman who's entering her rich girl era. When you can accept your life and where you're at now, the path to building wealth won't feel like a burden, but a calm journey built on simple systems that simplify your life and bring peace rather than chaos and constant need for external validation. Funding an image gives a temporary identity hit. Funding your goals gives a permanent freedom hit. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite concept that was discussed in this episode. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you are listening on Apple or Spotify podcast. Make sure to visit Elite Girl Talk Substack for bonus content as well. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye.